Okay, so today we are going to demo the NBU Project Manager module, which sits on top of Sage CRM. When you log into Sage CRM, you will have the normal menus and screens that you would have under standard Sage CRM, but you will notice a number of options available, mainly the ideas and introductions of entities in the system, which first of all the primary new entity is called the project, and you can also see secondary entries such as the task and the timesheet. You'll also notice that there are a variety of different areas where these new entries are seen. You'll also find an option on the main menu for Project CRM, and this allows you to have access to the full array of projects you may have in the system. Before we go into the end user side of things, just for those people who are interested and who have access to the entity level of the system, you will know and see after the install that there is a project entity, task entity and a timesheet entity. Each one of these entities are intrinsically installed in CRM, which means you have full access to all the features of the fields, screens and lists, as well as views and table level scripts that you would normally have in Sage CRM. So it means that this product is as customizable as any other part of CRM. So an intrinsic benefit due to the fact of the way it's installed. Okay, so let's have a look and go into any given project that's in there. You'll have various projects you will build up as you go. The first area to consider is the main project summary. You'll notice in the top frame you get the overall details of the project. The main summary show you the basic detail, including possibly a customer against that project, and then the project status. Each of these areas, as I said earlier on, are customizable. When we do look at the project, you'll see areas which are allowing you to edit the details, and this is what we might call the management overview. So if you have an example of, say, 60 days or 50 days of a project, as a management overview, you can also say how many resources you may have available to run that project, and also an idea of average availability. And this idea is in pragmatic project management. It's the way of estimating how many days per resource you have available per week against this project, and these give you concepts of how long something may take to actually render. So you'll notice these dates are changing down below here as we're making the changes above, because for 60 days and 3 resources and average availability of 4, it's saying that from the date that we started this project, it would take the 6th of March 2009 to actually complete that project. The idea of this is that we get a cross section, an idea of what we can do based on what we're saying the average availability is, and the calculated end date is to do what we are actually doing based on the drawdown of timesheets. Timesheets we'll explain in a moment. But the idea is you have a schedule, and you can see here that we're slightly behind on the schedule because based on the average availability and the amount of days that have gone by based on today, we are behind on 4 days in terms of where that goes, and you'll see that change as we add tasks and timesheets to it. So this is a management overview of what a project can look like. On the right hand side, it also includes a breakdown of stages that any projects are in. Complete, pending and waiting, again customizable. Okay, let's look at starting to plan the project. And for any project there is a series of project tasks, and those project tasks are available for you to plan according to, as being a project manager, against what breakdown and sequential tasks you have. Every task has a start date, reference IDs, obviously a name and status, who it's assigned to, and you can see in the summary details here it gives you an idea straight away of what you've allocated against that, and then billing and unbilling time. We'll explain billing and unbilling in a moment now. You have a filter box on the right hand side that allows you to filter the tasks so you can get a rundown of exactly what's happening in any given project. As you add a task, the idea is that in this planning stage is that you give it a name. So we'll give it a new task in this example. It's obviously against a project that we have in mind, and the allocation is the amount of days or hours, as you may need, that you're going to allocate against that project. We'll decide when to actually say when this project task is meant to start. We'll take the automatic reference ID. We could change it if we wanted to based on grouping, and we'll change the assigned user is defaulting to the system admin who's logged in. We'll change it to John. Further details then on the task in question will allow you to fill in as much as you may need against that. As you're saving that, the idea is now that that is plugged into the task listing, and that is now available for use in Drawdown. So you plan your tasks. You can see immediately here that there's a 5 day of allocations and nothing has been billed or unbilled, and therefore the remaining is 5 days. Let's look at the drawdown from the tasks. Now that the tasks have been planned, the idea is the next stage is that your users or resources of the project can start to draw down on these tasks. They get a calendar view, which can be seen in week mode or month mode, and also those nice navigational features that are typical in CRM about moving around on these weeks and moving around on these months, depending on what you want to navigate around to. So within the display of these things, you can see exactly what is available in terms of what's been drawn down. So we can see here that based on the task reference, we see timesheet entries that have been plugged in, all of which for our different users. We can see what they have billed, and that we can see subtotals for each week, which are on billed and unbilled basis, and then an overall total. So there's a nice granular view of what's happening in any given month, including then the ideas that you may filter on any of these things. For example, let's have a look at see what John is doing specifically within this month for this project, and we can see his exclusive timesheets that are actually done for them. Let's take an example and actually plug in a timesheet where we pick a day in question, and let's say that Tuesday, February 10th is our example, and it allows us to automatically create a new timesheet entry. We'll have a look at the tasks that are available, and these are all the tasks that are available against a given project. We can see each of the ones that are here, giving you the status of what's being complete or not, and also the ones that are pending, and it gives you a breakdown, most importantly, of what days are remaining against these days. So we're going to take our new task that we just plugged in, and in this case, we're going to say that we're going to add 2 days billable time against this project. We get a warning immediately to say that in fact for the timesheet that we're currently on, that we're actually plugging in more days than is already billed and is allowed, which is a nominal 5 days. We're going to ignore that because we have discretion over this, and for the sake of the demo we're going to allow it to override, but there might be good reasons why you'd want to have more days against this than is the nominal 5. Again, pragmatic project management. Unbilled, the idea is that we can also have the idea that sometimes we may want to bill or make it payable, or sometimes we may not want to bill and not make it payable against the given project. This is the idea of positive and negative time spent in the timesheet. It's very useful for consultancy and services and timesheeted projects, but also useful for on time and on target tasks, and also for those things which are payable and unpayable. Generally it's a notion of being able to have positive and negative drawdown on that time. We can plug in more details on what the timesheet entry is about, and you'll notice that as we pick the task up above, we got the details of the task below, just to give us a reminder of what that task is about. So we can continue to save anew and save anew, or just create that single entry that we're looking at, and then find that entry within the overall system as a drawdown on the actual time that we've done. So we can see here that the new entry for February 10th went in for myself as system administrator logged in, and it's against 2 days billable and 2 days not billable. Let's look at the project summary, and we can see that it's gone up to 6 days unbillable because again we're ahead of schedule. We've added in an extra 5-day task, and that means our schedule is still behind. So we continue with the project timesheets and allow you to draw down in this time, but also really what you want to get to is the next level of the project, which is analysis. This allows you to see the analysis of what's happening in that given project. It might be by user, or it might be by tasks. It might be on a basis of billable time or payable time or unbillable time or unbillable time. It allows you full analysis of each of these and getting an immediate view of where you stand for each of these different things. Okay, so if we look at the project in general, lots more detail there, but we'll move on to another perspective. In my CRM, the option is that you actually have a project tab in here also. These are my timesheets according to me, and therefore it's filtered according to me, and I can decide to use this as my point of entry, which will default my timesheets to be allocated to me. These are the tasks that me or other people have assigned to me. So you might assume this to be what you might call the actual to-do list, and this is against all the projects that I may be involved in. And as a project manager, I can also see the projects that I am a project manager for, in this case none in that particular sense. Also, other aspects of looking at this then is not just about the world according to the project or the world according to me, which is just seen in my CRM. It might be the world according to the complete full area of all projects. So these are all the projects that are in the system. These are all the timesheets for any given month. So as a program manager, I want to see everything that's going on regardless of which project, so I see overall totals and overall status. I can also see, most importantly, overall analysis. How is my overall services or overall performance? Can I see them by week, or can I see them by month? And I can also even go as far as to say I want to see everything according to the overall year even. So I'm beginning to see performance at a lot of different levels. Okay, so really there's a lot more involved, but we're trying to keep it nice and overview based. But also one other thing to look at is the actual report section. And again, we ship a number of projects with these, or a number of reports, but intrinsic CRM means that we can run these reports and create new reports on any basis that we see fit. So these are reports that you can, if you're used to creating reports in CRM, you will be able to create a new report against the project management module. And this is available straight away as something that you will have and use to your own avail. Okay, so again, the same idea with these reports is that you will be able to see these details, make use of them in different ways. In this example, we have a report that you may use for billing or invoicing, and it will include per project and per customer and the drawdown of those timesheets as you go. Okay, so things to note in summary. The project is available as an entity overall, things that you can see in the system and use in the system in the exact same way as anywhere else. You can navigate around and click through and have references to these projects throughout your system. It's intrinsically built in, which means that you have My CRM, Team CRM, project summaries, document management, analysis across the board. You can also use reporting on this so that you're able to actually identify analysis and trends and data, and also you can extend and integrate. So for example, a typical thing that we have delivered as plugins is an option for these timesheets to have a button which allows you to export these timesheets into your backend system. This might be something like Sage 50, Sage 200, or ACPAC ERP, or a variety of different systems that you may want to push and pull these pieces of data into. So lots of integration, lots of customization available, but as a wrapped project manager module, it facilitates all the practical needs that you may need for any given project. Hope this has given you an idea of what you can do with the project manager. Any further details, always go to our website www.mbu.ie. Thank you very much.